and well met. Welcome to the pregame show. These are the Dungeon Scrawlers. We are soon to be launching book 3 of our campaign, The Westgate Irregulars, and it is going to be a doozy, so I hope you're prepared. But this is the half hour where we chill and relax before the show. So drop your questions in the chat. Let's have a discussion. How are you all doing? And are you excited?
Hey.
I really desperately need to eat my dinner because.
Okay.
Phantasmic Ghost just gave all of us bling bling, Eric. You
wow. Okay.
Better remember this.
The hole in Briar House is going to be fixed any day now. It's going to be great. No drafts. No like vampires running in.
Wait, since this isn't in game, does that mean you have to give it to us? Do you have to give us presents?
Whoa, I would love that. I would love to get a gift right now.
You know, it's a great gift, a subscription to our channel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it kind of is.
It's good for all occasions.
Yeah, or a review of one of our books on a major buying platform of that books for others to read and perhaps buy our books.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but we are all authors. And you can see links to our books, which are always in need of further reviews. And we write books so that people read them and enjoy them. So
that's a nice thing.
Go for it. Do that. Buy yourself a present.
Oh, hey, Sonderjack is back. Yeah. Hey, are you undercover?
OG Weezer fan asked what's for dinner, and this has I don't know that it's an interesting story, but I went grocery shopping with my son, and Trader Joe's has all the.
Oh, goodbye, Aaron.
Signs.
You were frozen for a second. Oh, whoa, Eric is blipping out. Am I the only one here? Oh my God, is it me? Why is everybody in here frozen? Okay, viewers, type in the number 3 into chat if you could hear me right now. Because otherwise, there's some time freeze shenanigans. Oh, interesting. There's some time freeze shenanigans, which is very appropriate because we're fighting a big bad evil villain. Oh.
Shown, then yeah, you need to leave her.
Oh no, he messaged me on a
weird
on a Facebook Messenger.
The Golden Raven has struck.
Apparently, we're doing some technomancy right now. Everyone, stand by.
Now there's nothing.
We're back.
Wait, he's muted. According.
You're muted.
We're back.
We're back. Hooray!
Are we back? Are we really back?
Looking at the Twitch page, there's nothing there. There it is. Okay.
Yeah. There's always a little bit of lag.
I'm always
behind.
I
mean, this is appropriate because we're fighting a big bad evil villain that controls time, right?
Right. So wind it back. This is the new start.
I should have done a monologue from the Golden Raven right then.
Man, she's attacking us already.
The story of this is there were these recipe signs, and my son, who is 9, got so excited and wanted to make all of them. So I said he could pick one, and I ended up saying he could do 2. But he's made this easy chicken tortilla soup for dinner. So I didn't have to make dinner, which is great, but I did kind of have to stand there while he used the stove and be like, nobody got burnt.
How's your hand doing?
It's better. It's much better. I burnt my whole friggin' hand. A hot pan handle got too close to the other pot. And then fortunately my hand was wet, I realized later, because I grabbed it and it sizzled and I freaked out and spun around and stuck my hand under the water, which is the right call, as I remember from Girl Scouts.
Yeah, it is.
And so my hand was in the water for a long time because every time I took it out, like my whole arm lit up. But I put my hand in the water. Well, so here's the other stupid thing. I'm standing there with my hand in the water, and my husband comes up to make sure that dinner's not burning. And I go, "Don't touch the pan." But I did not say it fast enough or clear enough because he immediately grabbed the same pan handle and burnt himself. he is someone who tends to tough things out, which drives me nuts. But I will say I put my hand under running water for like a long time, and then I had it in ice water for a lot longer. And I have no blisters, but he does.
Mhm.
So that's the lesson. Do your first aid. Okay, now I'm getting my soup.
Burned
Well-
my hand a little bit today too, Aaron. So
What's up?
I burned my
right.
hand slightly today as well.
Oh, welcome
was
to the
like-
terrible club.
Yeah. It was like fate was like, okay, Aaron has done this. Now you need to do it. And I'm like, dang it.
Pass it along.
That is some of those competitive cooking shows. Some of them are okay, but like I think some of the more amateur ones, like I swear there's like weeks where the week's episode is just like one person after another, like carving off the tip of their finger.
Oh,
And then they're
no,
bleeding
thank you.
everywhere. And they're just like, they keep going. It's like, oh my God, stop and
Do
cover
not
it up.
want.
I don't know that I would ever in cooking choose to use a mandolin for that reason.
Always use that handle.
Yeah. Well, they're always like, no, I'm going too fast. I gotta have it in my hand. I'm like, use the freaking handle.
I don't even have the excuse of touching a hot handle. I just bump my hand against the edge of the pot.
How?
So stupid. Anyway, it's fine. It's no problem.
I like the contrast of like, the Great British Bake Off versus like Nailed It. Like I love watching Nailed It afterwards. Like where it's just like,
It's so crazy.
yeah. They have
So
to, like,
bad.
people make things really badly. Like they're not professionals. They're really bad cooks, and they try to make like these really complicated. And I always love like,
they
well,
don't
so
actually give
Jacques,
them
how
enough
would you
time.
make this like really complicated thing? And he's like, oh, it's easy. You just bake the cake and you throw in the fondant. It's like, oh yeah, bing bang boom, no
Like,
problem.
I don't think it took him 30 minutes to do that.
No.
either.
No, I've seen there's a Anne Reardon has a channel on YouTube called How to Cook That, and she does like cake rescues. Somebody's like cake has gone terribly wrong, and she suggests ways to like
Nice.
save it and like make it a different kind of decorating scheme or something. Anyway, she also does the supposed hacks where you use a butter knife to like make something like really silly, and she proves those don't work, but she tried to do one of the Nailed It challenges with a friend,
Yeah.
and they couldn't. Like they were both professional like bakers, and they couldn't do it in the time allotted. And it wasn't just time management, it was literally the cake could not cool down in the amount of time, and so then the frosting fell off. And it didn't
Yeah.
matter how you put the frosting on, the cake that had just come out of the oven, the frosting would slide off. So
That's,
Mm.
I have suspected that. That's kind of interesting. That's good confirmation.
Yeah, I'm
That's
always like, why
usually
don't
the-
they have blast coolers in that
They
show?
do, and they never remember
they-
them. And that's
Oh,
one thing I
okay.
usually scream at the TV about.
Blast
But
coolers!
if you can't actually make it cold enough with the blast chiller, then
They do
I-
set them these essentially impossible tasks. Like as Rhiannon was just saying, like it. I mean, there might be some way through some wizardry to do it, but I think that's intentional. I think they want them to fail.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just a matter of how badly they're going to fail.
So this
Right.
is the thing I've noticed about that show. Because if people aren't familiar with it, there's two sections, right? They make the first smaller bake, and then they have to make this big elaborate cake the second time. If you win the first section, you get a prize and you get to wear a gold hat. If you lose the first
Ooh.
section, you get a button that makes everybody have to stop for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
usually like 3 minutes,
Right.
and
I
then
have
and do
noticed-
something silly during that 3 minutes. Or
Yeah, it's like
something.
sort all these ketchup packets or
Right.
have a snowball fight. But what I have noticed lately is that people definitely intentionally fail the first thing. So you get that
Mm.
button, so then you can win the second thing and $10,000.
Mhm.
Because
that's-
while it's cool to get a new KitchenAid mixer, it's not as cool as $10,000.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's just also this other show called like Struggle Meals on YouTube. Watched a few times. It's pretty funny. It's like just this guy who basically tries to throw together an entire meal for like under $2. And he's got like a whole like kitchen drawer full of like free packets, like all from like, fast food, like ketchup and salsa and salt and pepper packets and Worcestershire, like all the anything you can get from any kind of like little restaurant type of thing, and like top ramen seasoning packets and stuff.
Nice.
So he's got but it's a pretty funny show. It's a pretty interesting show.
that
Like it's a practical show. You can make a meal under $2.
I remember making like being a kid and wanting I wanted cocoa at the zoo, but it was very expensive. So instead we made like hot water, lemon juice, and honey. There's your warm drink from the condiment stand.
Sounds tasty though.
I think the like cooking badly show for me is Cutthroat Kitchen. Because like there's no doubt that their things are going to be awful, and like no one should have to cook this way, and so they're not kidding themselves. So Cutthroat Kitchen is
the Alton Brown one.
It's the Alton Brown one, but Alton Brown, like crazy banana pants Alton Brown, which you didn't know he had in him until you see him do it. But they put like different things on each other that make it harder to cook, but they are just like batshit kind of things. Like your only cooking utensil is a badminton racket or something like that.
Whoa.
So you'll see somebody like stirring in their bowl with a handle and
That's
then like
my
trying to
kinda
make
show.
pasta through the wire, and so I just love it because A, they're professional cooks, so they mostly sort of know what they're doing, and B, like no one's under any illusions like about the kind of show that they're on. And so like I can just relax and not think this poor amateur like having to goof up like this on TV. I'm just like, yeah, they knew. And so you can just like laugh at them because it's hilarious seeing somebody like stirring with like the bottom of a racket or something.
I mean, sounds like fun to me. That's the type of cooking that I would try to sign up for, because nobody expects you to do something amazing with like a badminton racket, but if you actually pull it off, like that's next level.
Yeah, but are you a good enough chef to like pull it off with a badminton racket?
Is anybody? Who do you think would be better, a professional chef or a professional badminton player?
Speaking of YouTube shows, around the Olympics, we started watching the Try Guys do Olympics, which is wonderful because they picked a lot of sort of lesser known Olympic sports, and these guys like they have Olympic athletes show them how to do it, and they're terrible at it. So those things where you're like, that seems easy, because the announcer's like, ooh, it's too bad that it wasn't a perfect arc to her leg, so obviously it's gonna be a deduction, and you're like, yeah. Never mind, like my leg couldn't even get halfway that high. But they had one where they tried badminton against a professional or against an Olympic badminton player. That is hardcore. That is not gym class badminton. I've never watched Olympic badminton, but she at the end they did a match against two guys against her. You played to 21 points. They started up 16 points. She won 21-16.
Wow.
Well, in an Olympic level, of course, they play on a platform that's over lava. So, I mean, the stakes are really high.
She knows what happens if she loses.
That's right. You don't want to go out of bounds on that game for sure.
I wish Netflix would make a second season of Floor is Lava. I feel
I do love that show.
With the Delta variant, I have come back around to the headspace I was in when the Floor is Lava was exactly the show that I needed. So where's my season 2, Netflix?
I'm glad there are 2 fans. That makes 2 of us now.
I like it. I want there to be more rooms.
Yeah,
I've seen all of these. I'm done with these. And then they started going back to them. I'm like, no, make them more. I want a different house now.
Yeah. Oh, Santa Clarita Diet was also a good show. I really like that show also. I feel like Netflix has this unfortunate habit now of like ordering a show, giving it a season or 2, and despite like how many people actually like it, they just gut it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like MST3K, like there was no reason to not pick up more of that. I know MST3K is going on to be super successful, and they kickstarted like their own platform.
The the thing I've seen that makes their decision is how many new signups are we getting for this versus like that's more important than how many people who already signed up are watching it, because probably you have Netflix for more than one thing. But if it's not pulling people in, then they're like, scratch it, let's do something else, which like I can kind of see, but also like you do that too much, it's you're destroying your content and like they're running on.
And what about like your attrition?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess it's harder to look at a spreadsheet and see what attrition was due to, because if it's like, oh well, there's no new seasons of this and that, you might like pay for like a couple more months before you're just like, screw it.
Yeah.
So it's separated in time, but
Yeah, I get Paramount Plus, like I'll binge watch all the new Star Trek Discovery and then drop it. Like I'll get it for a month.
Shay makes a good point too, because like the farther you get into the seasons, the harder it is for someone to jump in. Although I guess if everything's sitting there, people can be like, oh my God, you got to watch this show. And then you jump in and you start at season 1.
Also, how are they tracking how many people share their passwords with other, because everyone's sharing their passwords.
I feel like Netflix will come full circle, because Netflix used to be the content maker that saved programs that were canceled by other networks, and now they're the ones who are like canceling their own content prematurely. And I bet like in the future they're going to like pick up the programs that they like cut and then give them another season when there's like enough hype for it again, enough desire. I think that's actually like a legit strategy for them.
I could see that.
Start your own channel called Save Flicks or something like that, where you like save all the shows that people love.
have you guys seen Netflix?
No.
Is hilarious. So it's a platform supposedly for nested movies and TV. So any fake movie or TV show that was in a movie or TV show that actually had footage on the screen. So like the characters are watching it. They have like a Netflix splash page where like each of those, like they have the title and like a few stills from it. So you can browse like comedies, and so then there'll be like this comedy that the characters in Futurama were watching,
right? Or like the show that BoJack Horseman is supposed to be on, that he's no longer on, right?
That's
the movies that Robert Downey Jr.'s character was in Tropic Thunder are on there.
That is a great concept.
Definitely amusing.
I mean, it sounds better than, what was it, like Kiwi, or what was that thing that was like 5-minute shows?
Oh,
that was bizarre.
Quibi.
I didn't understand.
I also
so
didn't
old. I didn't understand it.
I heard that like the CEO or somebody involved with creating it come on NPR, and it struck me as one of those things where they had totally optimized their delivery system without considering what it delivered, because they're all like, people watch of a certain length, and then you have these videos and they're really easy to watch on your phone, and we're already deliver it to your phone, and it says the length that people like to watch, and like where in there are we talking about like what it is that somebody likes to watch? And I think that was the where they sort of, and then shockingly they don't really have anything that I had heard that was worth watching.
I mean,
like I watched a review of one of their shows, and basically what the review said was that they felt like they had just watched an entire season of a show, but it took about half an hour because each episode was 5 minutes long. And they were like, this would have been an interesting show had I seen all of it, as opposed to the like 5-minute recaps of each episode.
I wonder if we have any viewers who actually like subscribe to it, or did any of us subscribe to it and actually try the service? If you have a Roku, I heard that Roku picked up all their backlog.
I hear there was a Princess Bride like recreation, 5 minutes by 5 minutes. If it's on Roku, I'll go look at it in my parents' Roku. But
there's also obviously the classic. I was gonna say there's the classic Drunk Kitchen with Hannah Hart also on YouTube. Like she went on to star in the movie remake of Electra Woman and Dinah Girl, which most of you probably don't even know who that was. But
it's like, it sounds crazy.
Yeah, it was one of those Hanna. Was it Hanna-Barbera? Not Hanna-Barbera. Sid and Marty Croft shows from the 70s, showing my age again. But it was, Electric Woman and Dinah Girl.
I remember there was a song that went with that.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty cool.
Heck.
So
Drunk
real
Kitchen,
quick,
yeah.
I just want to make a plug for the Jumbo D20 giveaway that we have. So if you take a look in that corner down there, thanks to the wonderful Teacup, we're giving away another custom Jumbo D20. If you are the winner of this custom Jumbo D20, you get to talk to Teacup and order like exactly the type of D20 that you want to fit your character. So you could pick like the colors, you could pick like little extras to put inside, like glitter or some sort of textures like fake lightning, etc., etc. So exclamation mark to enter.
The
And it's
souls of
free.
your enemies. Whatever you want. Yeah.
If you can give her the souls of your enemies, I mean, she'll put it in that dice.
Mhm.
I talked to her about this.
I should just let everybody know in the chat. Somebody asked if they could pool all of their coins to buy a Tarask. And I said I wasn't really sure how it worked, but I also said that if we hit 10,000 followers, there will be a Tarask. So
We should make it a sub goal.
we have 2.2 thousand followers now. So we're like a quarter of the way there.
Yeah.
So
But we could also make it a subscriber goal.
could make it a subscriber goal. What do you think would be a reasonable subscriber goal?
Oh, it depends. How badly do you
the-
want this Taras to happen?
The last few we
I think
made,
the real
like,
question is
were-
how badly
were
do they want
half
the
an hour or
Taras to
something.
happen?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, gee, Weezer fan.
A
Luckily, I
Tarask
totally know
attacking
70,000.
the city of Westgate.
And
Still
we're only
does
level
less
12.
damage than Stong did.
Oh.
Hey, I know the hack to
Is that
fight the
a-
Tarask. Just a
Is that a
bunch of
challenge,
caltrops.
Emily?
Hey, Emily,
Oh,
welcome
boy.
back.
Yay, Emily. And Steven, haven't seen your face in a few episodes. Good to have you
Been a
back.
while.
Yeah, how's your
Good to be back.
vacation?
It's been fabulous. I have this list of hikes that my students have told me about over the years, and I just kept this list and never went to any of them. And this summer I've been knocking them down one at a time, and they've been fabulous. It's been
That's awesome.
really cool. One of them kicked my butt, and I wished then that I had brought a tent with me so that I wouldn't have to walk back down the mountain after walking up and almost dying. Then I
What?
could rest and then walk down the next day. But, didn't quite work out that way. But man, there's some really, really beautiful alpine places in this state.
Hmm.
And it's always a rush to go for the first time to one.
No, Washington sucks. Don't move here, folks. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
worst.
It's on fire.
It's the worst.
It's
Yeah,
on
it's true. It is on fire.
Yeah.
It is on fire. Yeah, that is.
I-
Mostly, you want to avoid the hikes on the east side of the mountains right now. It's on fire. But yeah, the west side doesn't tend to catch on fire so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Give it time.
Rumpus Imperator asks if enough of us cash into rest at the same time, can we have a Godzilla Stong versus the Monsters episode? I think the answer is going to be yes.
I mean, it's too
I
big
did
not to.
buy some potions of growth. I'm ready.
And I
Just
hear
start chugging those. Just
Yeah.
apparently strange things happen when you mix potions in your stomach. So if you did like multiple growth potions, maybe it would just be this horrible mutation that made you 200 feet tall or something like that.
Your arms puff
Does
out
it go
like
like
Popeye.
healing before growth? You're in the clear. Growth before healing. You're-
Yeah, that old saying. Yeah.
growth before healing and you'll be reeling. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're at 6:25 right now, and we do have a recap that's like slightly over 3 minutes long. So is there anything anybody wants to say before we go to that recap?
No.
Thank you all for sticking with us. I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be fun.
Woo!
Yep. See you in a few minutes. We'll be back with the beginning of book 3.
Don't go away.
It's good to be back, isn't it? So you'll be forgiven for maybe forgetting a few things between Season 2 and, well, where we are now. Season 3 is just about to begin today, so why don't we recap a little bit. Now, in the wake of Season 1, Westgate had been left in absolute disarray, and the Irregulars were kind of struggling to find their place in the new paradigm. Stong was in prison, Cecilia and Artemisia were both dealing with the aftermath of some family issues. Things with Rogar and Ruan seemed good at first, but Ruan became more and more secretive as the season wore on, and the two of them started having some romance issues. He even started trying to cope with the loss of his hand. This season, though, this was all about trying to stop the Night King. Specifically, trying to keep the Night King from casting a spell that would plunge Westgate, if not all of Faerun, into eternal darkness. What is it with vampires and eternal darkness? I swear. I get it, you won't burn up in the sun. Some of us cope. Regardless, this was bad news. But along the way, they had some help from their old friend Adrian Corvetto. This paladin is basically Stong's hetero life mate and co-father to Mirabelle. But after Adrian's return, Stong getting out of prison, and a pretty bad night mask attack, Stong sent Mirabelle off with Adrian to keep her safe. Of course, things were extra complicated with Sorshin acting really weird, seemingly having to do with some kind of repeating timeline. And when the time finally came to face down the Night King, there were some moderate betrayals to have to contend with. Sort of. It's complicated. Somehow, though, the Irregulars pulled through. There's still a few questions. Why Ruan has been acting so sketchy. What I, Shay, was up to, having stood side by side with the Night King, at least initially, in the final fight. Though, I did turn against him, and trust me, I have my reasons. And Stong biting the big one during the fight. Now, in the aftermath, following the Night King's defeat, Stong was revived. So, our big, lovable lunk is still with us. But the Night King got away. His evil spell-casting chalice is destroyed, at least. But the biggest complication seems to be that in the aftermath of the fight, after Stong's revival, a strange figure in a golden mask appeared and impaled Sarshin before making off with the body. Not the body. He was still breathing last we saw him. Here's hoping he still is. So, who is this figure in the golden mask? How do they know Cecilia? And is Sarshin still alive? Guess we'll have to wait and find out.